Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I am Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm,
Konbanwa,
Jack Cepeda,
Milk-fed and ready to go, Irashaimase,
and Colin Sparling.
Hello, everybody. This is random thought from Colin because it's almost obligatory at this point. But I had a thought. I wonder if Japanese people have the same joy out of something like Girl Scout cookies, because it's Girl Scout cookie season here in the States as of this recording. And I wonder if they just get to experience that joy of just like, oh my God, there's a little girl that's selling these magical drug-like cookies on the street.
In Texas, yeah, it's a hustle. Like, you can't walk into hardly any Walmart or anywhere without like a desk set up. They've got like their tile thing. Oh, they take credit. Don't worry. They take debit. They take PayPal right on the side of the street. These Girl Scouts are hustling for your money. But then again, like, you know, you have all the options there, like piles of boxes. So I don't even know. Is Girl Scouts a thing outside of North America? I don't even know. I would assume.
Yeah, I have no idea. All I know is I got shook down by a Girl Scout selling cookies outside the light rail station. And she's like, give me your fucking lunch money. And no, I'm just kidding. I was like,
gonna say, like, clearly.
I was like, give me all of your boxes, please. All of your Thin Mints and Samoas.
Thin Mints. Okay, so Thin Mints, frozen or room temp?
I don't think I've ever had them frozen. Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
They're pretty good frozen.
That's a
Whoa,
thing.
dude, you're the only one. You're the only one in the room.
I don't know. I've never had it. I would be willing to try it.
Well, you're
Freeze
welcome.
'em.
Yeah.
You know, I can't imagine Japan's that worried about it because, I mean, look, for one, they have like 50 flavors of Kit Kats. I think they've already won the snack game.
Dude, Japanese junk food is like the pinnacle of junk food. It really is.
Yeah, like, I don't think they need your lowly Girl Scout cookies. And in fact, I think it says something about American junk food when it's like there's only one season where it's good and it's Girl Scout cookies. Everything else, you're kind of just like, you know, this is fine. This will tide me over until I can get my next hit of Girl Scout cookies right in the veins.
I just thought of the greatest collab ever. What about Girl Scout flavored Kit Kats?
Girl Scout cookie flavored Kit Kats.
Wait,
Girl Scout flavored.
Dang it.
That is the worst possible slip of the tongue.
I can't talk ever. I'm so sorry. Girl Scout cookie flavored Kit Kats. Like Thin Mints too. Like Thin Mint Kit Kats. That sounds good to me.
That does.
And like Samoas.
It does. That sounds amazing.
Cool. Yo.
Are there like Thin Mint cereals? Isn't that a thing?
There was a limited run of Girl Scout cookie cereals. But guys, you know what else is an absolute treat? This episode of fucking Terrace House.
Yes. Let's get to it.
So the episode opens up with someone knocking on the door, and it's a bunch of Girl Scouts delivering cookies from America. It's really weird.
No, Robert.
From America.
Yeah, today we are talking about episode 42 of Opening New Doors. If you haven't seen it yet, probably go see it because we're about to spoil all of it. This episode is called To Have Become Critical.
That sounds grammatically wrong to me, even though it's not. It's a really weird phrase.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
You know what? This is a critical episode, I think, because we get to see like a new person, a new pretty good person too. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we?
Yeah.
The episode opens up with the panel, of course, and they remind us that last week was basically an episode from hell for Soda.
Yes.
And I love that Yama calls Soda Sensei. Soda Sensei came there to do what he needed to do. He accomplished his goal of finding out some data using the Terrace House as a focus group, and he's leaving with information, and he accomplishes everything.
I want to know. I want to report on what apps now come of this. I need to know.
Like, does he do like a report and like turn it into like the heads of the company? Like, from Terrace House, these are the insights that I have gathered on our user base.
You know, I do want to talk a little bit about that conversation he was having with his male colleague there. You know, they were saying, "Oh, I was hoping you'd stay there," you know, and so we could dig up the dirt on you or something to that effect. And it's like
it was weird.
Yeah, what did he mean by that?
Like, I hope
exactly?
He said, and I quote, man, I'm losing it because I had it, but he said something about, "I really wanted to see you get down and dirty."
Okay,
What is that
yeah.
like?
Does that mean,
is that
like-
saying like
Maybe like make
down
out with
and
people,
dirty?
like date,
Yeah, is he straight up saying that he wish he would have gotten laid?
The thing that's,
I
mean,
wanted
sure.
to see you make out with someone. That's been
mean-
a personal fantasy of mine for a while. So
If you guys were ever, if any of my single friends were ever on the show, then yeah, I guess I'd want to see what it's like. They're them playing their game, in the dating game, I guess I should say, them playing their hand. But I think also that was interesting that came out of that conversation was that Soda is all up in the comments, and that can be a dangerous thing to do. Depending, right? Like you be careful if you're going to read those because you never know what you're going to get. And if you ask what people are going to think of you, guess what? On the internet, they're going to say it. So I can't help but think that also had a play into why he maybe wants to leave as well, too. It might just be a little much for him to handle. And this is kind of reminding me of when, Yui had that revelation, too. And, they both said that they saw themselves in a different angle, different sides of themselves that they didn't really realize were there.
Yeah, and I kind of hate the way that he recognized the fact that there was social media presence of him, because he says it in the most Soda way, and by that I mean it's just so nonplussed, non-reactive, nonchalant, devoid of emotion.
Yeah.
He says, quote, "Some people see me in a certain light. They have many opinions." And it's like, well, no, you could say that about anything. Oh, Ben and Jerry's? Yeah, people have many opinions about Ben and
Yes.
Jerry's. Like, fucking no shit.
Yeah. The very much like he is so about saving face. And I hear about that being kind of like a Japanese culture kind of thing where it's just like overall, corporations with jobs with anyone, they need to save face. They need to preserve their honor, so to speak. And so it seems just to lay heavily on him that no matter what, he can't show that he's embarrassed or be humbled or everything. He just kind of rolls off his back like, what do they say? Like water off a duck's back.
yeah,
Kind of like, shrug
it
it
was
off, shrug it
fine.
off.
It was
Yeah.
fine.
He's scared to be vulnerable.
But let's pull this episode back a little bit. So after the panel, it opens up with a pretty wide shot of the Bunka Fashion Institute in Shinjuku, where we get to see Maya practicing the walk. She's walking the walk. She's learning how to walk the catwalk.
See, I was confused here because I thought she was going to be a distributor.
That's what I thought too.
So I was like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe she's helping out a friend who needs models, etc.
Yeah. I mean, she's mentioned too that she was interested in trying to model. I think there was like an episode where there was a scene with her talking with her friends in college, saying that she wants to help represent more of like Sri Lankan Japanese identities.
I didn't realize it was so hard to walk, guys. She was getting criticized. Whoa,
Oh, yeah.
standards. I was like, oh, I couldn't do that.
I keep telling you guys, being a model ain't easy. I know from experience. All right.
Show us how to
5
walk,
years.
Robert.
No, but
Tell by the way I move.
I mean, yeah, there is a lot of little things that models worry about, but like the good ones make it look so easy that you're like, I could do that.
Do
It's
you
hard to
think
make
that?
things look easy.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe there's just some that just do it, right? Just are natural and they're not even putting any effort forth, or you think it's just like?
I think the most natural ones are the people who are born attractive. That's the most natural you can get at being a naturally good model.
It's like even if they're not walking quite correctly, it's like you forgive it because that face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That checks
I
out.
think. Yeah, I mean, I think that like something like the model walk or the catwalk, runway, whatever.
The runway walk.
Yeah, the runway walk comes
Blue
easier
steel.
to some people more than others. But what I can't get over is Maya's face in a lot of situations. Like, man, you could just read her like a book. And I know I've said it before, but it's just like when she was getting criticized, it's like she was in a whole other world in her head. She just kind of had that look in her face. Either that or like she was angry. I couldn't tell.
She seemed determined to me.
That's what I
Determined?
read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was receptive to the criticism. She's like, "Oh, I look like a robot when I do that."
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna
like,
get this
yeah.
right. I'm gonna stay here all night until I get this right. It's kind of how I
Yeah.
felt it. Yeah.
It's so
Gotcha.
It's so funny because we had mentioned previously in our what we don't like about Terrace House. We were like, we never see anyone at work anymore. And this episode was just everyone, at work, everyone at school.
Right, and it was a really nice change of pace. I like pace, just how much we were shown of the housemates doing stuff.
They're listening to us, guys. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. They listen to us. The producers know about this little American podcast.
Thank you for making a show just for us.
And I do find it interesting, right, that we also complained about how there's so many models on the show, but I kind of didn't mind watching someone learn to be a model rather than walking in already being a model. It kind of shows this, like modeling isn't just you show up for a fashion shoot and you look hot for an hour and then you walk off. Like there's a lot more to it. There's a lot behind the scenes, and it's taken Terrace House, I guess, 3 whole seasons to get to that. I can't speak for Next Door, but yeah.
Yeah, she's very much aspiring, right, too. So she's learning. We're going through that, like, kind of tutorial, like, training phase, So that's what makes it more interesting for me, rather than people that usually just come in the house are just, like, established already and working.
Yeah. And it all culminates in the scene in the girls' room where Maya and Risako are talking, and Maya is like, oh, man, I wish I could, see you work. Like, you're such a great model, Risako. And Risako's all embarrassed, but they eventually make plans where at some point Maya's going to watch her work. Which, that's cool. It's like apprenticeship.
Right. Good experience for her in her career.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we go to Meguro, Tokyo with Yui, where she has an interview with a company that's kind of like Airbnb, but for commercial spaces, for commercial companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting because, especially in the world of gaming, I feel like I hear a lot about pop-up shops and things like that all over Japan. So I wonder if this is that sort of company that actually does rent out these places to those pop-up shops.
Where there is a business need, someone will monetize.
Yeah, totally.
That's what we're learning,
They literally said in the episode they help facilitate pop-up shops.
Oh, that's true. They did say that.
Yeah. And also, whenever you say we're the Airbnb of, and you are that company where people are saying we are the blank of, that's how you know you made it.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting to me because I felt like Yui was dressed pretty formally, and then it's just these 2 dudes in t-shirts across the table that look fairly young as well, and it was a very startup look, at least, especially with that intern sitting there kind of slouching when she's like, yes,
Yeah,
very, very interview mode.
Yeah.
She seemed kind of overqualified too, it seemed like, from that. But it's just illustrating that her job search is continuing. I wonder if she has any regret as to turning down that one job because of, again, comments.
Yeah. I mean, she even mentioned, right, that she doesn't have a job in mind with this company. She just wants to work somewhere where she can grow with the company. So like it's like she's starting a clean slate almost.
I wonder how that tactic works in interviews. I don't really know what I would do here. I just want to be here.
Yeah. Well, in Japan, the culture is less like you are specific job. Like I work as a director of marketing. It's like the more important is where do you work? It doesn't matter what you do within the company. The main onus is on what's the company, because kind of when you start, I'm sure it's changing now, but for many, many years, the expectation has been like you work somewhere, you're probably going to stay there until you retire.
Yeah, true. Interesting. Okay.
So let's go back to the house, though. Let's go back to where all of our favorite people live. And we're in the kitchen. Everyone's there except Maya, because Maya's just conked out.
She's on the couch.
Done.
She's curled up.
She walked too hard, and now she needs a nap.
Look cozy.
And it's at this point Soda reveals to everyone that he is leaving. This is it. It's all over for him.
And they said it. I mean, it was kind of sudden, I guess. I don't have like a timeline for how long he was in the house, but they were somewhat surprised. But also maybe not. I kind of got the vibe they were kind of hiding how they weren't surprised.
Yeah, he says that, he gives the whole spiel of I accomplished my goals, whatever. He said he thinks he's grown as a person, and then we get this long shot of Risako looking at the table, and she's like,
Oh yeah, there's a couple of them going like,
Yeah.
And I just cringed. I was like, oh no, it's gonna get awkward.
Yeah, it was like really, I don't know. It kind of felt like fake. It reminded me of when Noah and Sana said they were like leaving, and nobody was surprised, even though they were still trying to act that way.
I get that. Yeah.
The most awkward part of that for me was when he was like, Yui was like, oh, I'm not going to be there when you leave because I have plans with a friend. And it was like, oh, no. But then he was like, okay, so I'm going to be home from work tomorrow at 6. And it was like, I think everyone thus far has, out of the goodness of their hearts and thoughtfulness, thrown everyone going away parties. But just him saying that made it seem like, you guys are going to throw me a going away party, right?
This is my schedule.
This is my schedule.
Please,
I expect to come home to a party.
So you think it was in doubt for him?
Maybe.
Oh man.
I mean, come on.
If he didn't say that, then they were going to be like, oh, oops, we thought you were going to be at work late.
He had a tough go
Bye.
around, and I feel like he was kind of brought in. Maybe, I mean, I'm in the producer's heads here, but I'm thinking maybe they were hoping he'd end up being somewhat of a heartthrob or maybe a heartbreaker type.
Well, he did break his own heart.
Man. He was just so weird. And I love how the panelists, too, were making the joke. And I think it was totally appropriate where they're like, so he's just going to bring up casually dinner, like, so I'm leaving. And that's so him. It didn't happen that way, but.
Yeah, I seriously I was fully expecting him to, like, as soon as he takes a step into through the door into the kitchen, he's just going to be like, okay, everybody, hey, like, I'm leaving. And then he walks out of the room.
Robert, is this where they talk about their likes and dislikes, or is that later?
That's later.
Okay.
So at the end of this little moment, Io asks Risako, "Hey, I want to talk to you. Can we talk in the playroom?" So they go to the playroom for Io to drop the bomb of, "I don't want to go to the soccer match with you." And Risako's like, "Yeah, I kind of saw this coming. I kind of know who you want to go with."
She's very smiley about it.
Yeah, I feel bad for her because, I mean, I don't know if she's like putting up a front, but I feel like just everything leading up to this moment, she seemed pretty into him.
Yeah.
So she said she wanted romance too. I didn't know if she wanted it with him. Did
she said, Richako wants romance.
Did she say that like
she
that?
said, Richako koi ga hoshi or something like that. But yeah.
And you know how Io reacts to that too. He's like, he can't stand it. He's like, that was the deal breaker when she started referring to herself in the baby third person.
I really wanted him at that moment to go, and that's why, and then he leaves.
And then he just leaves.
It was so I don't know if cold's the word, but it was so like it was like a process. Like he's like, I'm gonna take you away from this table. All of a sudden pull you into this room, pretty much tell you I don't want to go on a date with you anymore, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to ask the girl that's sitting at the table right now, I'm going to leave you in this room, go to the table and ask her right now. It was like a weird it
felt like a business transaction.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just kind of like he did the pivot, like, hey, you.
Yeah, she even said like that you didn't have to bring me here. Like you could have just told me right then.
Sure.
I will say, at least he did it better than Taka. Because if you were Taka, you would have been in that room and been like, I don't want to go with you. There's actually another girl I want to go with. I could see myself marrying her.
Dude, it really is a crapshoot when someone pulls you into the playroom. It's like a 50-50 shot there. There's no sure things there.
I mean, you either tongue down where Noah and Sana tongued down.
Oh my god.
You get shot down.
Well, yeah, I mean, speaking of Noah too, like Noah also had that moment where he told Yui that he didn't want to go out with her anymore.
Yeah, the playroom is where a lot of relationships or a lot of romances go to die. It also is where Noah and Sana go to talk.
To fuck.
Jeez. We're
I mean, to be fair, right?
This is a children's show, Robert.
Come on, Robert.
That's also the room, right, where Tsubasa gave Shion Valentine's or birthday gift.
And they fucked there.
They probably did.
We know they did.
Really?
And well, I guess we don't know if they did that there, but we know that
yeah.
at some point during their stay at Terrace house,
They did the dance.
They did the adult thing, I think is the way it was worded.
The adult dance, I think is what Shion said it. They at least, slept there, like literally slept there. We can say that.
And more.
Or cuddled. Okay, guys. Subject change.
So we're back at the kitchen. Io comes back into the kitchen. Kaito, he's a man of few words, but damn it, are they good words. He says, "What's up?" And
Tadaima.
So good.
What's up?
Tadaima.
And here Kaito asks Io, like, hey, did you ask Risako to the soccer match? And Io says no. And then he's being like a cool guy. And he says, I wanted to ask Yui. And Yui's like right there. And he like turns to her. He's like, I wanted to ask you to the soccer match.
Awkward.
What was even more awkward is she was like, wait, I just said that I have plans on Sunday.
I'm literally going to reject you right now because I just told you I'm busy. So when someone says they have plans on Sunday, I mean, maybe she'd establish that it was an all-day Disney World trip. But I didn't hear that at that point, too. If someone tells you they have plans Sunday, I don't know if I would take that as just like, oh, the whole day. So that was a surprise to learn from her. But we also come to find out that her plans were not worth canceling for Io's soccer match.
Look,
it's Disney, man.
It's Disney. It's Japanese Tokyo Disneyland.
She probably already has the tickets.
No, true to form. Like, yeah, it was unfortunate, like planning, I guess, on Io's part, right?
Yeah, seriously, I think he wasn't thinking, right?
I think it was one of those things where, like, I think he was planning it out in his head so much that he might not even have been paying attention, honestly, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Where Yui said that she had plans on Sunday, and so, like, still sticking with this plan, he was just like, "Oh shit, you did say that, didn't you?"
Yeah, this episode we get it's pretty painted clear that Io really likes Yui. Like, he's got some butterflies. He gets nervous around her. So that was kind of sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they settle for making plans to go eat sometime soon together.
Yeah. I loved Kaito in that scene where he was like, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna go get a shower. I guess
bathroom."
Yeah. He was like,
"You just went to the bathroom."
I really want the people on the show to do that more, because there's so many times where it's very clear the rest of the house vacates the room to do laundry or to shower or something, so that way two people can work their shit out.
Right.
I just really want the people to be like, yeah, sure, bathroom, quote unquote.
Call them out, yeah.
Let's see here. We go back up to the girls' room where it's Risako and Yui, and look, I don't know about you guys, I got minor Yui Mayu flashbacks here.
Really, though?
Right, because Yui, God bless her, but she isn't great at when she's in a love war. She's just really bad at being a sore loser and a sore winner. And she just asks Risako straight up, "Did he turn you down?" Like, that's mean.
And Risako had to say, "Yeah, well, no, not turned down, because we weren't going out." Like, the word that she used, I believe, was kosowareta, which is like break up, which suggests a relationship. Which I think, at that point, the way that they were previously acting, it's like, we really thought that was leading into a relationship. They were acting pretty couple-like up until he was like, actually, Yui is the one I want to go for.
Yeah, I think that, I don't think it was as harsh as the Yui and Mayu situation, because part of it is that Risako wasn't as combative. And then secondly, Risako was already under the assumption that he was going to cancel anyway. Like, she kind of forgot about the soccer date as it was. At least she said. Yeah. We don't know for sure, but it sounded like she was already it was done and over with by the time Io even said anything. So
yeah. And Yui did say, though, and I found this interesting, that she was a little bothered by Io asking her out right in front of Kaito, which to me is like, maybe she still has residual feelings for Kaito, even though Kaito's going for Maya now.
I didn't know what to make of that.
Yeah, it didn't seem like she was ready to just like let that go and move on, it seems like, if there was anything there.
And then we get the intro. Cool, great, fun. And then we're back at the kitchen with everyone there, and it's Sota's birthday party, or not birthday party, his going away party.
His death day party, kind of, to the house.
Yikes. But yeah, no, it's cute. They decorated the blackboard with his name in English with the long ol. And Maya says just straight to his face, "Hey, you're really hard to read. Like, when I first met you, I didn't know what to make of you."
Mm-hmm. And then he lets everyone know that, I hear that a lot.
Yep.
And then it goes down that path there, right? I was bringing up earlier, where like, hey, talk about what you like about me, talk about what you don't like about me, and then it's like, oh, here it comes, if it was going to come.
Yeah, it started with Maya, right? She was trying to be a little cheeky, and she's like, "Guys, we should talk about what we don't like about Soda." And everyone's like, "Haha, it's a funny joke." And Soda's like, "No, seriously, guys, tell me what do you not like about me? I want to know."
He's just getting hammered.
Like, because you're like hesitating. That's not a good sign, guys. Like, you'll make someone feel bad. And it's like, dang, that's what I don't like, Soda.
Right.
So you shouldn't have to try so hard to come up with something bad. And it's like, come on, dude. Read the room a tiny bit.
And he's been reading the
just
comments
sidestepping
too.
it anyway, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think Yamachan and all them and Tokui were saying how that was kind of a missed opportunity, right, for him to grow. Like Yui, I think made some meaningful changes, as a result of the feedback she was getting. And I can't say that I'm optimistic that Soda might, but who knows, going forward. But he wasn't going to get it at that time from his roommates.
Yeah. What I do like, though, is everyone says that now his expressions are kinder. He seems like he has a kinder face.
There's like a load off his shoulders, right? Like he's like,
yeah, I couldn't help but imagine it's like he looks happier because he's like, can't wait to get off this damn show.
Yeah,
not have to deal with those comments.
But it's like that's when he was relaxing. Like, dude, you wait till your last day to start relaxing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just felt that pressure. That he was like in all these social situations. He's obviously at least somewhat socially inept. We've been showing that now. And so maybe it's just that he knows he's leaving and that pressure is off of him now that he's gone through the cycle of being like rejected and all that stuff to try and get with someone. So maybe that's part of it.
I mean, seeing him back at his workplace again at the beginning, like the way that people talk to each other there is very like blunt and ribbing and like kind of like subtly making fun of each other. So maybe he's like, again, he's just been like so used to that it got uncomfortable when he was in Terrace House, where everyone is either not very straightforward or very nice with each other. So he was like, oh, I can still do this. And it's like, nope, you can't. So now he's returning to that world.
Yeah. I
like
think
his people.
Exactly.
I find it.
Oh, good.
I mean, I was just going to say, I find it weird that the last thing he said at the table was, no matter what everyone does in their life, I hope we can collaborate together in the future again.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, that was like, excuse me,
it's
hello?
like the end of a business meeting. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and totally. Then the scene just ends. There was no like reaction given to that.
For me personally, I got a lot of entertainment from him being there. I love the Udais of the world. I love the Sodas of the world, the chaos makers, so to speak. And but at this stage here, usually I'd be like, no, he needs to stay and just keep being himself and keep going crazy. But I really think we kind of wrung out, at least I wrung out pretty much anything that I could have gotten, because the girls like had all like just given up on anything beyond platonic or relationships with him. So I just think it was time, and obviously I think him getting in the comments was what broke the camel's back.
But just the next morning he just leaves.
Bye.
No fanfare, really. There isn't a prolonged crying scene with anyone.
Bro,
did we even see a final part with Yui? Because Yui, remember, had to take the first train to Tokyo for Disneyland. Did we even see their last like goodbye? I don't remember it.
So
yeah, I don't remember it. Wow. Yeah. So it was kind of weird too, because he was like on the like one step down from everyone when he was giving them awkward hugs.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh.
And he couldn't give Yui a hug because she was in the happiest place on earth, anywhere Soda isn't.
Oh.
Snap.
Yowza.
Snap, crackle,
Poor
pop.
Soda, man. I mean, I don't know. It's, I'm excited, I guess. I feel like Yui does now when Noah was going to leave, because I'm excited now to see what comes in.
Same.
Who comes to the house?
Who comes in is a great way to change up the show. So we get this scene at the Tokyo International Forum in Yurakucho, and a band's performing, a band named Gesu no Kiwami Otome, which in English translates to, Daily, do you want to tell them?
A girl at the height of her rudeness.
That's a long-winded name for a song. A girl at the height of her rudeness?
That's a great band name, though.
That's funny.
The Edge.
The most rude possible.
The most
rude
girl.
possible.
An
Rude
extremely
boy.
rude girl, basically.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but they're performing. I'm digging their sound. I don't know about you guys, but I like their sound way more than Shohei's band's sound, personally.
Yeah. Same.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. They're definitely more my style than Shohei. Sorry to say, if I have to pick one.
Same. But we get this shot of them backstage, presumably after their show. Bassist's back is turned to the camera, of course, because he's the one who's going to be on Terrace House, and of course we can't see his face yet. And he tells them, guys, I have some news. And the two girls are like, are you married? Did you get a girl pregnant?
Get a girl pregnant. It was all serious. It was that serious.
Yeah.
But they were like smiling when they said it.
Right, because we find out he hasn't been in a relationship in 6 years. And later we even find out that he's been turned down 3 or 4 times in those 6 years, rejected.
Yikes.
So maybe that was just like some playful ribbing on their part. I'm sure they spend a lot of time together considering they're in a band, right? We have 2 people at least in this podcast who have been in bands, know that feel. But yeah, he says, guys, I'm going to Terrace house. And the singer, Inon Kawatami, says to him, what if you don't find love? Or what if you go the taka route and find love outside the house?
Like, that's a bad thing.
He's throwing fire.
And we need to note as well, too. We need to note as well, too, that the lead singer of this band is a massive Terrace House fan that got him into the show. Like, got him into watching the show.
Right. Like hearing that, like, because I'm so used to, you know, discussing Terrace House within, you know, this group, but like hearing someone else make that, like the taka route, and it was like, oh, he's one of us. One of us.
He's a Terrace House Terrace House otaku.
Inon Kawatami, if you're listening, you're free to come onto our show whenever you want. Just DM us on Twitter and we'll get you on. It'll
if
be a
you
fun
speak
show.
English, yes.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Much like he must have. I mean, much like he must have like DM'd some girls or something. Man, there's something going on there.
Zoinks. We'll get to that later. But yeah, when Inon asks the bassist this question, the bassist is like, "Yeah, I'd shave my head if that happened."
Yikes.
So I guess we'll see in the next 7 weeks of the show if he shaves his head or not.
I thought it was nice, though, because they had such a positive outlook to it. They're like, no matter what happens, we're going to get some creative works out of this. It'll be our single. If you find love, I'll write the lyrics to a song. It'll be our next big thing. And if you get your heart broken, then you can write the lyrics and we can do it. And we can, you know, have it as a headlining song on our next set. So they have a positive outlook and a positive culture as a band.
I mean, like, to be fair, right? Shohei has gotten, 2 or 3 songs out of being on Terrace House?
Password, Rambling Rose.
Yeah. So it must be good to be a musician on Terrace House.
And sorry, just real quick, just want to say, like, the thing about it too, like, if you study, like, you know, music, and like, there's basically 2 themes that, you know, music is, or every song's written about. I mean, I'm being general, but like, essentially the largest ones are love or their rebellion in some state. So it makes sense that all these works would come from that.
In some cases, both at the same time.
Yeah.
So we cut to the panel, and I love this because the panel's all aboard this bassist train. Like, they're not even thinking about Soda, and Yu has to be like, wait, guys, Soda left.
Yeah. Dude,
Hold on.
Tokui was so excited he farted. I love how he didn't just let it slide either. You could just let it slide, blame it on the cat, blame it on the dog, but no, he's like, no,
I need national TV
farted.
to know.
Yeah. But that does speak to how prolific this band is. Like, we might not be familiar just because, you know, America, but like, this is a pretty popular band.
Yeah, I guess
been around since 2013, so they have some experience.
Yeah, it's piqued my interest, and I'm definitely going to go and check them out now. Yeah, I hear that they've got a lot of views, so I'm interested.
What I love is I think this might be the first time, at least that I can recall, where the panelists already knew the guy's name before he even showed up on camera. They were like, "Are we about to get Kyujitsu Kacho?" Right? Because they know who is his stage name. Which
isn't his real name, because Kyujitsu Kacho is like weekend manager.
That's your name? Is it like Pokemon or something like that? You just named after what you are?
I don't know if that's right.
I'm pretty sure Pikachu doesn't mean lightning rat.
It should mean shock rat, though.
If only. Does it? I hope not.
Kind of.
Oh God.
Pika Pika is sparkle, like the way that electricity does, and then Chew is like what mice say.
Wada-chan sounds like a Pokemon to me, guys. Just saying.
Anyway.
There you go. So yeah, the panelists are like, cool, we're excited. Gesukua, this is happening. And they also mentioned the whole love triangle happening between Io, Yui, and Kaito, and also kind of Maya. It's a weird thing that will probably get resolved in the next 7 weeks. But let's get back into the show. We're in the kitchen. Risako and Yui are sitting there. The doorbell rings. Ping pong, everybody. Everyone in the house gathers. Everyone's like, this is time. This is it. Let's go.
Gasp. The anticipation builds.
Yes, everyone except for Maya, I believe, is there in the kitchen now. And enter Masao Wada, 31 years old, the bassist for Gesu no Kiwami Otome.
And the way he says it too is like, I guess, unique. He's like, my name's Wada. I'm moving in today.
Yeah, and I love how he isn't cocky about it. He doesn't flaunt it like, oh, you probably know me.
Yeah,
I'm the bassist for this band. You know,
that would be so barf in my mouth annoying if he did that.
Yeah,
I'm
Kaito
so glad
has to ask like, oh, are you a musician? I was about to say magician, but are you
a magician?
He is
It
magical.
is though. He's magic. I love him.
He's
Yes.
magic on the strings.
But yeah, no, he just says he's a bassist. They have to tease out of him, oh, like for what band? And he says, Gesu no Kiwami Otome. Man, they're like, oh, really?
Well-
Like they all know.
I haven't seen his videos, right? But it's kind of telling that like the old familiar Colin, you know what I'm talking about, like just no one notices the bass player ever.
Dude, I know. I was totally thinking that too. I was like, yeah, nobody knows who the fuck he is because he's the bass player.
He just blends in. Like if they're that big and have that many views, that he wouldn't get recognized on the street. It's just like, oh, he must play bass. It's just kind of like a funny stereotype.
Let me tell you though, dude, he was jamming though when they were showing us the concert clip. Like he was kind of getting
gonna check
after
him
it.
out.
They were like, yeah, dude,
I'm
you
gonna
had
check
a
him out.
nice bass solo during our set tonight.
The thing about how I know he's a good bass player, because even though I've never really heard him aside
Is it
from
because
that
he has
real quick
glasses and a
snippet.
goatee? Because that was
Well,
I guess.
you know what? That's a second reason. Yeah, I'll put that in the box. But the first reason was that he is full time in like multiple bands, so he's
yeah.
kind of like a session player.
Totally.
right? He's like the go-to like reliable bass player. So I'm like, oh, he must be skilled.
He's like the modern Japanese Carole King or something.
Yeah, if he's got that much work, he must be on top of his instrument. So I can't wait to hear. I hope he jams around the house, kind of like what was his name, the guitar player.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out though, at least one of the bands that he's also in, either Darare or Ichikoro, I forget which one. One of them is one of their producers is the singer for Gesukiwa. So it's not like he just found these other bands. Like there's definitely a link to it.
Gotcha.
Not to like downplay
Sure.
how good he is, right? It's just like it's all related, right? It's all
he's
all
doing
interconnected.
It's all networking, and he wouldn't get the job if he wasn't good though.
Yeah, for sure. I do like immediately from the get-go, you kind of get this interesting vibe from him where he is in one way kind of weird, right? Like I feel like the way he talks is kind of stilted and
He's like almost self-deprecating. Like it's the opposite of Sota.
Yeah, he's
like
very.
whereas Sota,
Yeah, he's self-aware. He's very self-aware.
Yeah, he knows who he is. Yeah, and that kind of stuff comes with age. That kind of being comfortable with people just speaking plainly. And he knows who he is, and he's been humbled too, because we come to find he hasn't had a relationship for 6 years. He has been rejected like 3 or 4 times, I think he said, in the last 6 years.
He's only been asked out once.
Yeah, and it's easy for him to fall in love, and he's already like finding things he likes about people during that first sit down. I think that if we can just dial it back a little bit, when he first walks in the door and everyone sees him, I think they're kind of surprised. I mean, Yui says as much, right? She's like, I wasn't expecting that. And really, I think it's kind of a pretty major shift in terms of who we've seen in the house over the last 6 maybe new roommates that have come and joined the house. And for me personally, as an older guy in his 30s, to see a guy rocking the dad bod like he is and being as secure in his own skin, it was kind of refreshing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can relate to this guy in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
yeah.
But on the flip,
it feels balanced again.
yeah, totally. But on the flip side, he definitely loves to cook, and he can definitely cook from what we're seeing from his Foodstagram.
Yeah, and I love how Yui's like, oh, so like, of course you know how to cook. I'm sure you know what good food is like.
Oh, that's
and
hard.
He's like, is that
'Cause
because
of
of
this, right?
what I look like?
I know.
Yeah,
He was
like,
like,
and
no. He's like, dude, we totally know that's what you meant.
And he's talking about his weight and his body shape specifically is what he's referring to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he took it personally. I don't think he was like
No.
angry at her. I think he was
No.
kind of jabbing.
And then he said, and he said, I mean, we're kind of jumping around, but then he said that, no, I appreciate that frankness, or I don't mind it at all. And, but if we
It's
go back to
refreshing.
what he was talking about with the guys, he's kind of into masochism, right? He wants to be with a girl that speaks her mind, that doesn't hold back.
And then he says, and I wrote this down because it reminds me so much of my boy Shunsuke. If I get the feeling that perhaps secretly they think I'm gross, it kind of turns me on.
That's great. That's a weird thing. Daily comment. I need to hear this.
Why a daily comment?
Yeah, can you
What does that
represent
mean?
all the women around the world for us real quick?
No, I just want to know. I just want to hear you talk.
What? Why did? Yeah. What's? I got the really
Like,
wrong reaction.
like he likes that it's like getting the impression that someone would be like, ew, you're gross. I don't.
Why would that be a good thing?
That's nothing else except for just masochism.
Pretty much.
Like I can't see, like, maybe he would think it would be cool and like successful feeling to make someone overcome that or like change their mind about that impression. I don't know.
So he
But that
needs
was
a
just
chase.
the way,
Yeah.
maybe the way he said it just sounded like he would just meant it in like the funny kind of perverse way, because then everyone in the room was just like, oh, that's perverse, hentitis.
He was being kind of labeled or identified as having some perverse proclivities early
He's
on.
the kind of guy where I could imagine him saying, "Step on me," and like seriously.
deadpan.
Oh man, hold on. Let's not come here first because I like this guy already. I'm not ready to like bash him yet, but
I'm
That's not
bashing, that's
necessarily. Yeah.
no, literally
I'm not-
bashing him. Like, step on me.
fine. No, I'm saying that's fine. That's like a kink he has, and I'm okay with the possibility.
You're already
that
assuming
might
he
have a
has.
kink.
He does say things very flippantly though. Like, I don't think we should take everything that he says in stride.
Seriously.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems like a fun guy. Like on first impression, like the very first thing, like at least one of the very first things he says in the house when they start asking him questions, he phrases it like, and I'm paraphrasing, "I'm here for a very serious reason,
Oh yeah.
romance." And everyone laughs, and it kind of gives this vibe where he's definitely a playful guy, you know, as we've been illustrating here. But yeah, like after, he comes in, he puts his stuff in the boys' room. He says that he likes to be thought of as gross, which is fine.
Okay.
Do you, man? And then we all come back to the kitchen. Everyone's there but Maya again. I guess she's very busy. And they start talking about this. They start hinting at like, oh, so that Gesukiwa scandal, like, how was that, right? And I believe Daly and we did a little bit of research on what this scandal is, and it's kind of wild. I mean, it's very tame, really, but
I was expecting something much more over the top. Like, when you guys heard that, where did your minds go?
Yeah, it seemed pretty heavy, and it seemed like national news.
Right. I just
It was.
thought, I mean, like he was making like sexual advances on like unwanted sexual advances on women or something like that.
no,
So
it's tame. I mean, Daly, do you want to take it?
right. So what wound up going on is that Enon, the main singer, and he's probably the most visible member of the band.
As singers
Yeah.
So the Terrace House fan.
married a woman in secret, like just like a non-celebrity woman, didn't want to have all the fanfare of it because she's not used to that, etc. And it's like, okay, that's kind of off the beaten path. Like, I guess celebrities are more expected to be more visible with stuff like that. Like, celebrities marry celebrities.
Yeah.
But then it turned out that it was revealed that he and another artist named Becky were having some racy line conversations while he was married.
Yeah, and more importantly, with Becky, she's what they call a taranto, which is the closest way the best way to describe that in America would be people who are famous for being famous.
Right.
So she's like
brought up
Kim
we brought up the
Kardashian.
Taranto when we talked about Tori-chan on episode 2 of this episode.
Yeah, of this show. So,
show,
Becky's that kind of person. She is a panelist on a bunch of other shows that aren't Terrace House, but other reality TV shows in Japan. She's there. She's permanent cast member, or she's rotating, or something like that. People know her. At one point, according to the Japan Times, she was one of the most famous tarantos on TV. Like everyone in Japan knew her.
Yeah, and this scandal, she got the brunt of it. Like, that's kind of, that double standard when it comes to men and women coming through. But, like, everyone was more mad at her than the man who's, married. And talking to someone like this.
Yeah,
So that sucks.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not okay. Yeah, that's wrong. It's morally wrong, right, to cheat on your significant other. But at the same time, it's not like it was like gross sexual misconduct.
I was gonna say, is it cheating? Like, was it infidelity, or was it just flirting?
Was it just flirting?
It got to the point where Becky said that, or no, Enon said to Becky, "I wish I could have married you instead of my wife."
So there were scandalous dialogue going on then, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, there's a guarantee of at least feelings aren't where they should be.
Not cool.
gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, yeah, they are very public-facing people, but I don't think that would have been as big of a deal here in the Americas. You know what I mean?
So like the text went public.
Yeah, there's a tabloid company called Shukan Bunshun, I believe is how you pronounce that, and they somehow got screenshots or access to those line messages.
Okay, that's a little weird.
And published. Yeah, it is weird. And I believe that tabloid, they're known for trying to put hits out. Well, not hits, that sounds awful, but like they're known for trying to take down celebrities, like big celebrities.
Reputation hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So they both, I'm not sure if it was both, but definitely Becky had to like publicly apologize.
Yep. But since the wife is a private citizen, right, because she's not a celebrity, the only way Becky could apologize was sending a letter to a magazine. And it's just like a public letter to that person saying she's sorry. So she couldn't even like tell her directly.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow,
But Enon didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I believe he's divorced now.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's not the biggest deal in the world, though. I think that's more because of the culture. Anything else? That's the way it's coming off to me, anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause-
But just for, the idea was like if someone wasn't as familiar with their music, they might have heard of that scandal that happened a couple years back.
Yep.
Right. That sounds like what would make like People magazine or something over here. I don't think that would make like, I don't know if that would
National news.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting though.
Yeah, I can't say for sure actually if he's divorced now with his wife, but there definitely been some repercussions to this. For example, there was a company, an animation company, approached Kawatani and was like, "Hey, can you write the song for this anime opening and have your band
for
publish
Crayon
it?"
Shin-chan.
Yeah, for Crayon Shin-chan, which is
Shin-chan.
it's like this adorable little kids anime that's been running for
It's not a
long.
kids
Not
anime.
a kids anime, dude.
It is
Am I
not a
thinking of
kids
something
anime.
else?
Yes. Shin-chan is a very crudely drawn but very adult anime.
Yeah, I might be thinking of
It
something
has
else.
that style though, but
Yeah.
then there's like very adult themes.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
there's a little kid that literally dances with his dick out on the show.
Oh my god.
Constantly.
They ran it on
Constantly that's his thing.
yeah, and they ran it on Adult Swim back in the day.
But yeah, so with that adult anime, essentially, not a hentai, but they
Sounded kinda
rescinded
like a
the
hentai.
offer. What?
Sounded kind of like a hentai to me.
It did, yeah, adult cartoon, if you will. But no, they rescinded the offer for him to do that opening theme with the band because of all these allegations. So, sure, in America, right, that's not scandalous because it doesn't involve violence and sexual assault, but it's still damaging to your reputation as a celebrity.
Oh well, wait. There was one thing. The only thing that came to my mind was the whole like Tiger Woods thing back in the day, and he like lost his sponsor with Nike and all that stuff. Because he was just cheating on his wife, right? And his wife like beat the shit out of him because of it or something. I don't know.
I think. I mean, I just want to say, like, just because America's gotten to real talk, America's gotten to a pretty shitty place in general.
Sure.
But just because, like, America bad is this new standard doesn't mean that a celebrity cheating on his wife is okay now.
No, not at all.
Anywhere.
Yeah, definitely not.
No.
Not exactly. So it's one of those things. Where
Not okay.
I'm just kind of like, I guess numb to it now because it's like that doesn't sound like near as bad as half the shit we hear about the news over here anymore.
Yeah, and you can't let yourself get numb to it. Otherwise, that's what the media wants, man.
Right?
All that
They
shit.
want to desensitize.
Don't let the terrorists win, Colin. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of the media, so bringing it back,
go with the terrorists.
yeah, the terrorists. No, speaking of the media, bringing it back to Terrace House proper. So they asked Masao, hey, so how was it being in the band during that scandal? And he says that the Enon he saw on TV was very different than the one he knows personally and the one he has known for years.
Sure.
So that to him makes him believe the media skews people a lot, which is true.
100% true.
Yeah, it was really interesting because it kind of harkened back to one of the conversations that we've had on this podcast, about how the media builds personas for people. And I think it was on our recent things we don't like about Terrace House, how members get boxed in like, oh, this is the villain for this season, or Yui and her dark side, she's the villain, or Ami doesn't smile enough, so she's a mean girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's what naturally winds up happening, unfortunately, is people getting personas plastered over them just because they're visible people.
Right. Getting back into the episode, there's a scene out on the terrace where Ayo and Masao are sharing a cigarette, and Wada thinks, hey, Yui's pretty cute, isn't she? She's very caring and kind and cute.
She can drive, she can cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I get
She's very mother-like.
I get the vibe too that Io's still, he's saying you can stop referring to me so formally. And he's like, I will once I get more comfortable with you, but they're definitely still feeling each other out. And I think just Io was kind of also taken aback with other people in the house that, this person is not typically the type of person you see join Terrace House in age and appearance and everything, So it's still certainly the feeling out period. And we both come to find that, like Daly said, they have a fondness to Yui. And Wada-san's noticing right away. He didn't waste his time.
Yes. And they all go back into the kitchen, and that's where Wada reveals, hey, like, here's my Instagram with food. And, dude, those shots look good.
They looked good. They looked well plated.
The plating,
yes. It was very good. And that's where Yui points out, oh, you really like food because ... And yikes. But then Kaito's talking about how, oh, maybe like you and Yui can cook together, right? And maybe Yui can tell you like, oh, this is how you do that thing or whatever.
Like the knife.
Yeah, and
how
then
to chop properly.
And Wada says, who knows where it can go from there? With like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It was flirty. It was pretty flirty.
Yeah. Although he apologized immediately. He was like, usually I don't think girls like me because I say weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hi, I can relate. You're like the most relatable person right now on Terrace House.
He's so blunt. I mean, not blunt, but he's so upfront. He's like, I'm here for romance. I'm here to fall in love. I'm definitely interested in marriage. I fall in love very easily. He told Risako, didn't he, right away, that you're very beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like the third thing he said.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I'm a model. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're really beautiful.
What if, man, I have this fantasy, like, man, what if he was in the house at the same time as, what if he was Noah instead of Noah in the house at the same time as Sana and have their both personalities interplay? I just think that would make for.
That'd be pretty good.
That would have been
interesting banter. Yeah. Because they're both, blunt like that.
Right. We cut to the panel for the last time for this episode, and Yama jokes about how he thinks that when Wada first walked in, the girls were like, man, what a bad draw. What's this old man doing here?
Yama said that, and I was like, bro, that's so brutal, man. Because I'm telling you, I'm serious, guys. Like, I can already relate to Wada-san more than anyone ever in Terrace House, personally myself. Because like I said, we have some similarities in appearance. And also, like, I was in music too, as well as him. So, we're similar in age too. And I was just like, I'm rooting for this guy. I'm rooting for him in a big way.
Same.
He's my vicarious Terrace House.
He's your vicarious Terrace House boy.
Yeah.
But I do love that Yama just drives the knife in further, twists it by kind of pretending like he's Maya, and he thinks when Maya meets Masao, she's gonna be like, "You've got boobs, old man."
No.
This is hard.
In contrast, I forget who said it. It might have been you, or maybe it was Tokui. But someone said like, "Oh, I think he and Risako would have beautiful children together."
Yeah, I think the panel's rooting for he and Wada and Risako to get together because they're like, I think it was Tori who said, yeah, they're like the perfect age for each other or something like that.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
1 year
Yeah.
apart. Is that right? 1 or 2?
3?
Oh, 3 is apart.
Wada's 3 years older.
Right, and I really think it was cool what Tokui said about how he brings a little bit more balance to the show, because we went from at one point being like, hey, there's all these hip, cool young kids on the show, to now we're like, hey, yeah, there's more of a balance. And now I think, at least from Tokui's standpoint, it's a little bit easier for them to relate from an age.
Also,
Which isn't to say that Wada isn't hip and cool.
It's very cool.
I think it is. I think he's cool. I can't wait for people to see him play bass. You know, I think that's going to change a lot of people's perceptions too. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's important to note as well too that he established early on that he doesn't really have a type physically. He's after someone based on their personality, what's inside there. You know, he didn't say anything about they need to look like this, be a Garu type or anything like that. They need to be in this age. He's there to evaluate someone based on their personality. So it's important to note that, because that means that he's considering everyone in the house, at least in the early stages.
Yeah. We cut to the kitchen with Masao and Ayo, and Maya walks in, and I love how at this point I'm convinced Yama has some sort of clairvoyance, because he didn't hit the nail on the head, but he was like a centimeter off, you know, because Maya meets Masao for the first time, and she's like, oh, cool, nice to meet you, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, whatever. And Ayo says, you should ask him what band he's in, which Maya does.
Oh, I love this.
And he's like, you ever heard of Gesu no Kiwami Otome? And
Oh,
she's
you're like a cover band?
like a cover band.
Dude, I lost
That's like
it.
when she thought, dude, that's like when someone thought, I can't remember who it was, but someone thought Taka was like the plumber or some shit.
Yeah, to me that's like the music, like the equivalent of, oh, you have boobs, old man. But instead of like his physical appearance, it's like your career. Oh, you're not the band, but you're the cover of the band. That's really cool.
You're
The
definitely
band's super old.
Yeah,
Which it's not.
You must be like some manager at a cell phone store or some shit, because
Yeah.
clearly you can't.
Kacho.
Yeah. Wow. And
Yeah,
she
but-
kind of ate crow there, I hope, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, she was like, oh man, I thought they disbanded or something. And it's like, I mean,
She just keeps putting her foot in her mouth.
he's like right there. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It was a little wild.
He's right there.
So I'm not a betting man, but I don't think Maya and Masao are gonna get together.
I mean, she is, if I'm just looking at, the last episode and this episode, she's kind of made it clear her intentions with a Kaito.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're on the track right now.
Yeah.
On the track.
Let's see. We cut to the girls' room, and this is a weird scene. Yui and Risako are already asleep, and
Oh, yeah.
I felt uncomfortable watching that, because it's like, wait, are we just watching two girls sleep? This is weird.
Yep.
And don't knock on the door and come in when no one says come in to the girl's
so I mean,
bedroom, dude.
The
What are you
look on his
doing?
face.
Yeah, like Ayo comes in, he peeks through, he realizes they're asleep, and then he has this, oh shit, did I do that face? And he
Guys,
still walks in.
Let me just ask you.
Yeah,
I was
he
gonna say
still goes for it.
that's exactly what I'm bringing up with you guys. Would you just keep going?
No,
Or
I
would you
wouldn't
say,
crack
I
the
would
door
wait till
open.
tomorrow?
Even if I cracked the door open, I'd be like, oh shit, they're asleep. Shut the door, walk away. Like,
Totally.
Wait till the
Yeah.
morning. Wait till the morning.
I really don't think I would even crack the door open, but if it did come open from me knocking and I saw that all the lights were out, I would fucking go away.
Yeah.
I have a theory as to why this disaster happened,
was
but
drunk.
I'll get to it after Robert explains the scene.
Okay.
So he knocks on the door, walks in. Hey Yui, do you want to go fishing tomorrow? He says, do you want to go fishing? And she's like, I'm free tomorrow.
He was
It's like,
totally.
cool, let's go
he was
fishing
drunk.
tomorrow.
He was definitely.
Thanks for asking me at fucking 2 a.m, ass.
Yeah, and Risako is awake too, which is just extra weird.
Yeah, it makes it more awkward.
considering Ayo just not dumped, but like declined a date with Risako.
No romance for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yui and Risako have this moment where they just kind of look at each other and they're like, "That was weird."
Yeah, like what? Like
Yeah.
really?
But Yui was excited because she was like, no one ever knocks on the door to come talk to me.
That's true.
It was a moment. It was kind.
It was a weird moment.
Yeah, I definitely think that he was just chilling with Wada, because we cut to that scene where him and Wada and Kaito and who else was there?
Maya.
And Maya was there, and I think they had a few drinks, so I think he was feeling good and decided to walk in there.
See, my theory is...
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is that I definitely think alcohol could also be an involving factor here, a contributing factor. But I think that his conversation on the smoke break with Masao really put him on like, oh no, he really likes Yui.
Put him in
He kept
panic
saying,
mode.
like,
Yeah.
she's cute, her eyes are really round, she can drive and cook, and she's the kind of girl that you want to marry.
Right.
And he was like, I need to lock that down and fast before someone else gets to her.
Yeah, and it's like these things never work out well. The last time this happened and a guy acted out of urgency to seal a date in, Glass's date was discussed. And we all know how that ended. I'm not saying that this fishing date is going to be a disaster. Actually, I'm optimistic about it. But it's like guys really do speak to each other. They figure out who likes who, and then someone panicked and like goes like, "Oh, go out with me now!"
Yeah,
like literally right now.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you,
I think that's a.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's like when you find out about like a sale on that thing you really wanted to. Oh, gotta hurry up and move on it now.
Right. Yeah. Daily, I think that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't know. I think it was. I'm glad that Yui responded positively, but that could, like, there was a 90% chance that could have gone horribly. I feel like Aya is very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could, honestly, I don't see that if this was American reality TV, they're like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, throwing pillows at him. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, what? Talk to me in the morning. Yeah. Gosh, yeah. I don't know. Yui was very gracious about that.
But we end the show with a final scene in the kitchen with the four people who aren't asleep right now. And Io confirms to them, yep, we're going. Yui and I are going on a date. And everyone's like, yay, congratulations. And Masao looks a little bit worried. And then and he says something so dramatic. I feel like this is his musician showing. So she likes you, huh?
And then didn't he? Is this the part where Kaito and Maya also, yeah, kind of establish next steps too? And he's like, that was so smooth. That's how it's done then.
Yeah, but you can tell in this scene, Masao already feels pressure. Yeah. I feel like he looks very worried in the last shot.
Yeah, he's literally going like this, like, and I'm doing that thing where you're like, where your face, you're just like massaging your forehead, and you're just like burying your head in your hand. You're just like, oh gosh, gotta hurry up.
Yeah,
he was doing that over and over again. I was like, oh,
yep.
So I've got two things to say. One, he's pretty much at this point railroaded into aiming for Risako, right? Mm-hmm. Which could be good or bad. It really depends on if he's the kind of guy who likes it when a girl says Richako's looking for love.
We'll find out.
I think he'd be okay with it.
He doesn't seem that picky, guys. Called in. I just don't think he's that particular.
As long as she finds him gross, I think they'll be fine. But on the other hand, I just want to say historically, this show likes to put up a lot of middle fingers with leading you one way and delivering something else completely. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to make any guesses or judgments at this point, because who knows, maybe Maya and Masao got it on in the background, and then we're going to find out in episode 47, like, oh man, I saw them making out last night. Like, what's that about? I don't know.
I'm rooting for him like I haven't rooted for anyone on the show since Tsubasa to find love. That's where I'm at with him right now. I'm rooting for him. I want it. I want it.
I just want to see him perform again.
Definitely. I can't wait to see think of all the cool footage we're going to get when they're going to shows backstage. Probably the super fan singer is going to get to meet everybody at Terrace house. That could be cool. A lot of good potential coming up.
You know, I really do hope the singer shows up on Terrace house, because one, I feel like that'd just be positive publicity for him. Mm-hmm. And two, it'd be kind of cool to see a Terrace house mega fan just show up because his friend is on Terrace house right now.
He calls like everyone by their first names and nicknames, and it's like, Maya-chan!
Like, yeah, what if he just starts fanboying out? That would be hilarious.
He was such a good friend too, because I don't know how I'd react if I like got somebody in the show and they're like, "Oh, I'm on it, fuck you." You're like, "Wait, I introduced you to that show. What do you mean you're on it? I should be on it." You know what I mean? But he had a good attitude about it.
Yeah. No, the singer seems like an okay guy, despite the whole scandal that we talked about in today's episode.
People grow and people change too, so who knows? Was that a long time?
Same.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask back then. Was that a long time ago or recent?
2016.
Recent.
Scandal.
Fairly recent.
Yeah, fairly recent. But hey, Gesukiwa's still together. Okay, Maya, they didn't break up or anything. That about wraps us up for today's episode of Tadaima. we're going to have a discussion question going on for you guys, both in the Facebook group at Tadaima Clan. If you want to search that, find it, we'll let you in. Or you can comment down below on our YouTube channel. What do you guys think of Masao Wada? Do you like him as much as we do? Do you hate him with a burning passion? Let us know in the comments below. And if you don't want to talk about that, let us know what your favorite Gesu no Kiwami Otome song is. Man, that's a really hard name to say really fast, but did it.
Make sure you hit like and smash that subscribe button. Oh, and make sure you ding the bell too.
And ding that friggin' bell, man. And here's the thing. You've noticed that I have not tried to even try. I haven't tried to say the name of that band because I just know.
Can you try it for me right now?
You
please?
Want this? You want this?
I want this. I want this.
I need to know you guys want to hear this. Okay, say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Gesu no Kiwami Otome.
Gesu no Kiwami Otome.
Perfect.
Almost.
I'm never saying it again.
One cut Cepeda. One take Cepeda.
One take Cepeda. Daly, you were very gracious to hold your laughter in there. Thank you.
Oh, man. That was a hard one.
Gesu no Kiwami.
Yeah.
Y'all are trying me.
Is this my brand on the show? I just butcher Japanese and get laughed at by you fuckers?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Irashimasen down for the most part.
Irashaima. He doesn't even say that wrong.
You said it wrong this time, Robert.
I know.
Irashaimase.
Okay. We're fine. We're good.
Hey, Daly, you want to tell the people about our lovely contest?
Hey, that's happening. Last time our contest resulted in a very happy person getting AirPods or a Amazon gift card of equal value. And people seem to like it, so we decided let's do that again. So we don't know what we're giving out yet. That's to be determined. We're gonna get that anticipation up, but you can join in on this contest and get whatever lovely prize there is at the end, possibly, if you leave us an iTunes review and let us know who you are on any channel. That could be through Twitter, Facebook, etc. If you've already left a review, you're in the running. But it totally helps us if you tell us who you are so that we know how to get in touch with you should you win.
Yeah, and what we mean by that is when who you are is like, tell us what your dang screen name is on the iTunes review. That's what we want.
Because iTunes names are vague and have no meaning.
They're sometimes
to us,
different.
So.
Yeah, so just make sure we know so we can prize you and gift you.
Yeah. You could win a brand new car.
That's not what it is.
No, it's not.
That's definitely not what it is.
It could be a toy
car, a Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
We'll mail a Hot Wheels to you.
Yeah. I'll sell you a 2016 Honda Civic for $17,000, but I ain't giving that shit away.
There you go.
There you go. Give us $17,000.
Yes. Please.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, theories, etc. that you want us to talk about, email any and all of those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. You can catch us, I believe, next Tuesday for the new episode of Tadaima, where we're going to talk about week 43. We're just going to keep chugging along through part 6 until there's no more to chug along to. That sounds wrong.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, catch us on another spoiler cast next week. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itakimasu.
You can email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com, follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast.